What you doing? I'm DC and this is Otaku News Reviews. This time I'm talking about Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Volume 11 with story and layouts by Hiro Mishima and art by Asuo Ueda. This came out in Japan on March 9th, 2022, but it finally came out in English on November 8th, 2022. It covers chapters 91 through 99 and over with translation notes and art and stuff. It's about 190 pages. Overall, before getting into the little specific details of this was a pretty cool volume. It moves on to kind of pursue another dragon while also dealing with Selene. First half is more of that transition into a new arc, and more details are just talking really and setting up for a lot of the action that happens in the later half of the volume. Overall pretty cool, but it's really just a intro to a new arc, if anything. Since this is released chapter by chapter, I figured it would be better for me to do it chapter by chapter, even though I normally cover it as a volume as a whole, but I thought this would be a good way for me to focus on details that I normally would kind of just gloss over, and because, you know, each chapter is kind of its own little idea or, you know, piece of the story that's kind of important. So I'll start with chapter 91, My World. This picks up with Selene right after killing Master Gorge of all the dragon eaters. Yeah, she just takes over Diablos. And Selene pretty much goes over a plan of like wanting a world with no dragons, only humans. And this is, she says it's to be the strongest human. After all the dragons gone, I guess she would be like a human too afterwards. I think it's just she doesn't want any competition, just be the strongest in general, because dragons are typically stronger than humans anyways. But her first step is to get the members of the Diablos, who are some, mainly Suzaku, are very hesitant to accept her. But yeah, she wants them to take down Elysaria, even though she says she could do it herself. So she sends them there, and just coincidentally, it seems like the rest of the main group is going to go visit him too. Chapter 92, The Great Labyrinth. So Gorge and Gorge, is it Gorge? George? Something like that. There's an E missing in the English translation. I don't know if it's, so I want to say Gorge, but it might be George. Whatever. Anyways, and then eventually the founding of Diabolos. Dang, more words. Diabolos. I guess it's Diabolos. Whatever. Yeah, he was originally supposed to do the 100 Years Quest, but then he got kind of caught up in eating the dragons and kind of his objectives got twisted, and then he eventually formed the guild, which he wasn't supposed to tell anyone about, so that kind of got null and void and whatever, which is why the Fairy Tail Peeps are there and doing it. The Fairy Tail learns this. Then there's a crow named Shade, who seems to be Elisaria's only real friend or company, whatever, warns that the Great Labyrinth has an intruder. Oh yeah, there's a Great Labyrinth, thanks chapter name. And we get to see the 3 Dark Knights of Diabolos. One is named Kirin, the Golden Dragon, Haku, the White Tiger Dragon, and Misaki, the Cerulean Dragon, all based off colors, which I think had something to do with their names too. And there's more about that in the translation notes, which I'll get to later. But Haku sticks out to me because White Tiger, a tiger and a dragon, the names of their dragons doesn't really have anything to do with their actual magic, unlike all the others that we met so far. Well, maybe not Diabolos' ones, but before that. And we also learned there was a 6th dragon who's asleep / dead in the labyrinth, even though there was only supposed to be 5. That moves us to chapter 93, the 6th of the 5 dragon gods. Apparently Elysaria beat the earth dragon Dagramag, but when it did, it ate his heart. But when it died, it became an ever-expanding great labyrinth of Dagra. Elysaria, I'm never gonna get that name right. You know, his dragon slayer magic is law, which is like the power of intelligence, which I don't know about that. Law and intelligence. There's something there. And then all of a sudden, Luxus and Gajil are teleported to the labyrinth thanks to Selene's magic, who also happens to be there. Moving on to chapter 94. Battle Dungeon. This is where it starts getting cool. A little game is set up. No action quite yet, but Celine wants his heart and the knowledge of this human weapon that's, of course, will be really bad for anyone to find, blah, blah, blah. No details about it yet, just say it's going to be really bad. And she sets up this 7 versus 7, Fairy Tail versus Diabolos. That's why Luxus and Gajil, who are also Dragon Slayers, are suddenly brought there. That's cool. It would have been cool if it was just all Dragon Slayers. You just see this huge gathering. But nah, it's, you know, little game, 7 on 7. Find the heart, whop each other out. No one's allowed out until then. They can't destroy the heart, of course, otherwise bad things happens. And she sends the rest of the Fairy Tail in to try to catch up to Diabolos, and everyone's just split up, kind of in pairs and stuff for Luxus, who doesn't need anyone. And right away, Natsu, Happy, and Lucy, who was stuck in a wall, meets Haku, the white dragon, and turns Lucy into a doll, which goes to chapter 95, plush doll. Everyone is then turning into a plush, including Natsu and Happy, and Lucy's celestial spirits. She tries summoning Virgo, still a doll, but she can use her magic. They can use their magic, but they're dolls, and also Virgo can't dig because the walls and floor are made of something. Because it's a labyrinth, you can't just dig and punch your way through it. That's why Natsu couldn't get Lucy out of the wall. But yeah, and while that's going on, everyone else is having to fight these monsters like automaton things that are also made out of the wall, so they're not easy to destroy. And then Luxus is found being able to easily take out 2 of the other Diabolos guys. I don't even know their names. The one who says Cha, and the other one who just looks like has a dragon mask, some kind of something. Easily takes him out. You don't even see the fight, you just see that he beat him, and that's that. Then into chapter 96, Lightning and Air. So Luxus ends up running into Kirin, whose magic is air pressure, and it's like, well, we already have Wendy, who is wind, like hers wind magic, but I can't complain too much because I also wrote something long time ago where the difference in magic was one was wind and one was more like pressure, and I was like, dang, I'm not that creative. Anyways, Luxus seems to be doing well against Kirin, but eventually Kirin also has his moments like, oh, I can't take it easy on you, and then seems to unleash his magic, which Luxus compares to Gildarts. I wish we saw more Gildarts fight. Never really felt like I seen him go all out. Oh well. And then it goes back to the plush characters taking on the plush dog, and then Lucy uses Loki and Ares are able to finally beat it. Let's prove that's the character or chapter. A lot of these chapters go on pretty quick because they focus more on the battles and fighting, so there's not that much to talk about. Then like this person fought this and that. So, of course, that means moving on to chapter 97, Haku, the white tiger dragon. Haku meets Wendy. And Lily. And seems to fall in love with her. I guess love at first sight. Sure, he thinks she's cute and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Turns out Wendy can undo plush magic because he tried it on Lily. She just undid it. Since it's a status thing and status things don't work on Wendy, she can't be turned either. But then Irene keeps hijacking Wendy and it kind of issues a challenge to Haku. Like if Haku can turn her into plushie, then their date or go on date or something like that. Go out with her. Cute, like little kid stuff, but also like, whatever. And then if Wendy can knock him out, then that's that. Through this fight, you finally get to see, even though turning people into plushies already seems OP, once you can know that, I guess it doesn't matter. You actually get to see Haku fight, and it seems a lot of it revolves around like doll stuff, but not like using a doll, but more like threads and all that kind of stuff. Using dolls a little bit, turning into dolls. Apparently, he can even turn Irene into a plushie because he can turn personalities into plush. Wow, that is OP. And then chapter 98, Enchantment Magic. First cuts back to Kirin and Luxus. Kirin has a spirit of a king in his coffin that he carries around and is knocking Luxus around with it. Don't get to see too much of that fight after that. But then it's back to Irene can control the dolls that Haku was using. because of enchantment magic. Easily able to do this to beat Haku. Not much of a fight. I was really wanting to see him more like sinister, even more powerful, because he is supposed to be the one of the 3 strongest in Diabolos. But then it was pretty over after that. And she says that the only reason she could do that is because Winnie was acting like a catalyst, because she's now like a high enchanter level of mage or whatever. I don't know. Kind of just, I thought Irene wasn't really supposed to be doing much. Wasn't she supposed to disappear? Whatever. It seems like Wendy was supposed to be like really strong on all this stuff, but now Irene kind of keeps stepping in and it's a little whatever. And then moving to the last chapter, chapter 99, Scarlet Rage. This is where everything gets mixed up because, yeah, literally the labyrinth gets mixed up. Gajil finds an orb that mixes up the labyrinth. Just out of nowhere, no build up to that. It's just like, huh, weird. Real draw. Carla's like, oh no, bad, whatever. This mixes up the labyrinth. Everyone's kind of get separated or brought back together, kind of. So that means Luxus and Kirian's fight is broken up. Lucy and Happy are separated from Natsu. Gajil and Carla run into Gray and Erza, but weird, funny, because it always has to happen at some point. Erza has to pull Gray down to avoid a trap. Juvia's Graydar goes off, which seems to almost, she thinks is a gaydar, because she accuses Gajil of putting a move on Gray, which is like random, but it's more like her wanting to be with them, but also Gajil just suddenly disappears, so Levy's also like, where'd he go? Why he just abandoned? It's like, okay, that's funny, but it's also like, oh, that's kind of dumb. I mean, anyway, so those 4, Erza, Gray, Carla, and Gajil, have to face Misaki, the Cerulean dragon, who seems going to be super powerful. I don't know. Between Misaki and Kirian, one of them's going to have the most powerful. I think it's going to be Misaki, just based off of whatever. But maybe not too powerful, because she rips off all of Erza's clothes, trying just to destroy Erza whole, and then tries to pull her hair out with her magic and just cuts it. Which now we have short-haired Erza, which unless it's going to be manga, anime, logic kind of stuff, and Erza's hair is just going to grow back really quick again after all this fighting. Who knows? But we might end up with short-haired Erza. But she's mad because Jalal also really likes Erza's hair, so she's all mad about that. So now they're going to fight them. And then Natsu, separated from everyone else, runs into Suzaku and seems to be fighting him. And that's it for the manga. Really cool. Like I said, nice intro into this next arc. Going to be more fighting. Already taken care of almost half of Diabolos. I mean, they're strong, and they shouldn't keep losing the same people. That's like a theme with Fairy Tail Guild and whatever. They've said it before in this manga. But yeah, I guess we're really going to look forward and see what Kirian and Misaki can do. And kind of like this rematch or whatever with Suzaku, and see where that's going. And then they're supposed to, if they get through this, they're supposed to be able to fight Celine. That's going to be where the real like problem is going to be, fighting at her and this dragon with her magic, and how that's supposed to, you know, I don't know. The other thing though that is kind of leaving out is this was supposed to be like ever expanding labyrinth that's supposed to be really hard to get through. But they're not even really focused on the labyrinth part that much. It's really just focused on fighting each other. But I guess with Gajil finding the orb, it kind of mixes things up. But the labyrinth so far, aside from those weird monsters, hasn't even been a problem. It's just going to be Diabolos. So maybe after they beat Diabolos, it'll move on even further. And the labyrinth will be the problem themselves. And maybe they'll have to work together a little bit. Who knows? Because I didn't mention it before, but like Diabolos, even though it seems like they're darker, they're legitimate, like, people assume it's a good guild. They're just not good people, kind of. But I mean, we also saw other guilds that, or legitimate guilds, that weren't very good. So we'll see where this goes. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be really cool. The next volume should be out in a couple months in English, because it took me a little while to get around to actually reviewing this. Oops. Oh well. Then the last thing I want to know, well, one more thing. Little comic thing about when Irene was posing as those dolls. It's just cute little comic. Like, oh, why are you doing that? She's like, oh, just forget about it. Just forget. I don't know what you're talking about. Stuff like that. And I was like, okay, that's cute. Little comic. But last thing in translation notes actually does go over like 3 Dark Knights plus Suzaku. and like what their names mean, and they refer to the 4 beasts of Chinese mythology. I'm not going to go through all of it, but it's kind of like, yeah, this is what their names are after and what the colors have to do with it. Scarlet Suzaku's a scarlet bird, a cerulean dragon for Misaki, a Haku the white tiger, and then Kirin or the unicorn, or a yellow dragon, but it's not even technically one of the 4, but could have been a 5th beast. And then there was a turtle one that's also supposed to be there, or tortoise, and that would have been black, but it's not included in these. So maybe there's another member that might pop up just to stick with this. Maybe they're not, and it's just thought this will work out better. I don't know. But yeah, that was interesting to know. That's why I like the translation notes and why I talk about them. But that is it for this volume of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. The 11th one, can't wait for the 12th. It's really cool. I'm really liking it. I did this video when I did it because I finally got all the manga that is currently out in English. Finally getting Fairy Girls. And I just recently did a podcast episode, Alcohol Anime, on Dragon's Cry, the newest film. And I keep seeing talk about there being an anime for 100 Years Quest, so we'll see if that ever happens. So I'm just pumped and excited for all this. I'm glad I finally got around to it. But yeah, I guess I will make sure to do volume 12 too when that comes out, and hopefully in a more timely manner. I'm getting better at timing my videos and stuff and everything I do. I don't know, but let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what you expect to happen, predictions, who you want to see, what you think the coolest fights are going to be, or what you thought the coolest parts of this already were. Because, yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening. But, yeah, if you like this, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more of my stuff, you can subscribe, follow, do all that and stuff. You can also follow me on my social medias, DAC Stories, and all those things. And, hey, you want to be a part of the little community, go ahead. I have a Discord. You can do that. Not as active yet, but you can change it. You can help change that. There's a few people in there. I like it. I post a lot of stuff in it myself. Well, yeah, that's going to be it for me. Until next time, I'm the AC. Thank you so much, and bye.